been asked this question a bunch of times, but what led you to Tucson and why did you take this job?
Obviously it's a really good opportunity. Being in the Pac-12 and being very familiar with it, I've always thought highly of the university. Even going way back to my days when the Desert Swarm and when I was a player at Washington State and so forth. So I've always been intrigued. Obviously the opportunity presented itself. So for the biggest factor was basically that, just the opportunity, the timing worked out, and I'm excited to be here.
When you think about Arizona defensive backs, who do you think of?
Like I said, I'm going to go back to the Desert Swarm days, and that secondary was outstanding with Bob Sanders and Tony Bowie at the safety spot, and he had a corner named Keyshawn Johnson that was outstanding. So those are the general guys. I do know of the Shaquille Richardsons and the Kaysons and those guys. But I'm more of the old school because when I played back then, that Desert Swarm defense and us with the Palouse Posse was a battle that we enjoyed having.
Your title is defensive backs coach rather than just focusing on safeties or cornerbacks. And with the number of players, scholarship players you have at those positions, are you anticipating a lot of hybrid and mixing and matching between those guys?
Not necessarily. I usually like trying to establish guys so that they can just play their base position. But in my time, when I do have an entire secondary, it tends to happen to where someone's going to get injured. And because everyone's in the same room and they've been listening, maybe a corner can jump into a safety role or a safety can jump into a nickel role because they've been listening to all the verbiage and the communication. But going into it, I kind of want guys at their spots.
And so are you anticipating early on, Coach Sumlin made mention of that nickel might be the best package right now based on the personnel that's available. Are you still seeing that, or are you looking at more of a base?
Right now, we're going to be a base team and a nickel team. And I think it's just going to be gauged on our opponent and what they do with their personnel. For us right now, nickel is going to be the 11 and 10 personnel type of deal. If there are opponents in 12 and 21, that's, we're going to be in base and those types of deals. So we're going to kind of match them, but I don't necessarily see nickel when there's not three receivers on the field.
You oversee an entire secondary. Is it challenging with COVID and having such a short amount of time to prepare for a season?
Yeah, but it's coaching. So from a standpoint of not being able to look them in the eyes, because when the video is on, you can't see their face or their reaction when you're talking about a route concept or trying to get a point across. So as a coach, yeah, I miss that. The X's and O's, the teaching of the scheme, all of that stuff, it's still the same. It's just I don't get to see the physical reaction, or you understand what I'm saying, and the feedback from them, or I can sense you really don't understand it, but you're not saying anything, and then I can clarify. Mm-hmm. So I miss that. But the actual teaching of the concepts, the system, our defense, that stuff's the same.
Mm-hmm. Curious, how many position coaches have you had since your time at Arizona?
I've had a lot, man. When I first came here, man, I had Coach Dante. He took the job at Oregon. Now he's at SC. Then I had Yates. Then I had Meat for 2 years. And now I have Burns. So, I've had, four coaches since I've been here.
Yeah. As a cornerback who's been, a key contributor for, from the time you've been here, how difficult is that, adjusting to different coaching styles, and what have you taken from each of those guys?
I think I don't see it as it being difficult. I see it as an opportunity for me to learn different coaching styles, different views of the game. Coach Yates, he has a different mindset to the game. Coach Meat has a different mindset to the game. Coach Burns has something else to offer, and Coach Dante has something else to offer. So just being able to get information from each one of us coaches has been a great opportunity.
What type of leadership are you expecting to take on this year, and what's your kind of early feeling on the whole defensive back group that from the practice that you've seen so far?
I'm confident in our guys back there. Like I said in the previous question, they're excited to go out there and play. Reddy Short, CY, Jarius Wallace, Malik. I can keep going on and on and on, all the way down to the freshmen. Bobby Wolf. I mean, everybody's excited to play, and that's the one thing I'm excited to see. You know, just a whole bunch of guys ready to go out there and ball and have a great opportunity. They had an opportunity to learn from the best. The guys that were here last year. Jace is now on a 53-man roster. You know, so that's a great tool you can pick up on from him, and being able to take that skill set and that knowledge and apply to this group, and everybody seeing that and seeing what can be done. You know, it's an exciting opportunity.